We are back here at Keystone and More. We first would like to apologize for not making an NFL recap preview, same for the NCAA recap and preview last week. We just were too busy. I went to an Iowa State game over the weekend against Baylor. We'll talk about all of that, though, on Tuesday. But here we wanted to make a quick Sunday night video. We haven't made a podcast on Sunday night in quite some time. We had to get it done before Tuesday because, as you can see on the screen, MLB postseason starts on Tuesday with the NL wildcard between the Brewers and the Nationals. Nick and I are going to go and talk to you guys about who we think are going to make it to the World Series, who we think our AL and NL champions will be, and why do we think teams will not make it as far as others. Nick, we're going to start off with the NL. I think that'd be a good place to start. Starting on Tuesday night, the Brewers are making their way down to the nation's capital in Washington D.C. as they take on the Nationals. Max Scherzer is getting the start for the Nationals. Danny Woodruff is getting the start for the Milwaukee Brewers. Nick, these two teams got here. The Nationals were a clear wild card, and the Brewers maybe had a possibility of winning the division and before the Cardinals took chase. Who do we have winning in the wild card in this game?
I like the Nationals big time in this game, not gonna lie, because I just think the Brewers, without Christian Yelich and without a fully healthy Ryan Braun, they're gonna be a disadvantage. And the Nationals right now are one of the hottest teams in baseball. They have a very lethal lineup. You got Rendon, Soto, Robles. Kirk Suzuki has a decent batter now, and he can bring a real clutch bat like he did against the Mets not too long ago. So Labor Day weekend. So I really like the Nationals. They are red hot right now. Trey Turner is a nice speedster in the line. Bad medium. I'm just naming people because it's very easy to name people in this team. Ryan Dozier. The point is, it's a very good team, and they have an amazing pitching staff. Max Scherzer will be pitching in Game 1, or in the wild card game, and if need be, they can bring in Patrick Corbin or Steven Strasburg, two of the top 10 pitchers in baseball. The Nationals have three of the top 10 pitchers in baseball, and they can utilize them kind of whenever they want, as long as they are fully rested. I just don't like the Brewers' chances in this game. Though the Brewers have rallied recently, they did lose. I believe they got swept by the Rockies over the weekend. And the NL Central was an interesting one down the road. Cubs got out of it. They fired the manager and they got out of the race. And then it came down to today for the Cardinals and the Brewers. But I like the Nationals on Tuesday night at home.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't really care who you pitch. If you're in a one-game series and whatever team you're on, I'm always most likely going to go with Max Scherzer on the mound. He's a guy that has one of the dirtiest off speeds I've ever seen in a slider. His two-seam moves about 2 inches, which is not normal for a normal two-seam. His fastball can get up there in the high 90s. His changeup is nasty down low. Will get ground ball outs. I don't think Max Scherzer has let up a fly ball with his changeup, which shows that if there's a guy in first base, he can get that double play ball with that changeup. He has confidence going in. The whole team has confidence going into this game. They're 9-1 the last 10, winning. They're on an 8-game winning streak, whereas the Brewers, they've had a rough stretch, like you said. Yeah, they lost 3 games. They went down to today and couldn't pull it off to win the division. I don't see Danny Woodruff having a good game, especially in an atmosphere like Washington. I don't think any really baseball fan saw Nationals going anywhere after getting rid of Bryce Harper in the offseason. This stadium in National Park is going to be packed on Tuesday night. Woodruff has not really had much postseason experience. So I think this new atmosphere, especially it's hard enough to play in a wild card race. If you're a pitcher, it's worse to go on the road to a sold out stadium. So this is why and like you said, the offense has been red hot. So I'm giving this to the Nationals, no doubt. So the winner, no doubt, would go and play the Dodgers. But we'll start on the other side with the Cardinals and the Braves. Nick, I don't know about you. I'm going with the Braves. This is a World Series contender team because their pitching has stepped up. For me, that's the thing. Freddie Freeman's been hitting the ball great. The whole hitting core have been literally hitting the crap out of the ball, and they've been backed up with their pitching. And the thing that makes me say this is a World Series team is not just their rotation. Their rotation's dirty. It's their bullpen. If their rotation doesn't have a good game, they'll no doubtedly have full confidence going into their bullpen and throwing any guy that they want. If it's a setup, if it's a middle reliever, if it's a closer. This team is one of the most well-rounded teams in this playoff hunt right now.
Yeah, I really like the Braves too. Their lineup has to be the best lineup in baseball, right? Acuna, Albies, Dansby Swanson, Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, Josh Donaldson. I mean, it's got to be the best lineup in baseball, right? Maybe the Dodgers could compete with it. I don't know, but I like the Braves in this series. The Cardinals, I don't really know how to put it. I feel like the Cardinals are a great team, but they don't have that one guy who is above the rest. It's a bunch of really great players and make a really great team. The Braves are an amazing team because they have a few amazing players. They have Acuna. I mean, Acuna and Freeman are amazing, right? And then you have, when you talk about pitching for the Braves, you have Volnevich and you have Soroka. So you have two pretty, I mean, Soroka's great, obviously. Soroka's great. And then you have like four like average guys. Okay. You I will tell you this. When it comes to me, if you have one great pitcher and then four like threes, like four number three pitchers, you can win. Here's how you don't win. You pull a Phillies. You got one great pitcher and you got four fives. But if you have a great pitcher and then four threes, you can probably do something, and you're most likely going to win that 5-game series versus the Cardinals. So I really like the Braves in this series, and so yeah, I like the Braves in this series. And them being the home team will help them I think would help them in what could very possibly be a Game 5.
I do I do agree with that. I think going on with the Cardinals rotation, they've proven to be a good offensive team. Second half, they had a huge storm that I don't think anybody saw coming. We thought it was going to be the Cubs pulling it away after the All-Star break, or maybe even the Pirates since they were 2 games out. But they have a guy leading the rotation in Jack Flaherty who's been amazing in the second half, and everyone else hasn't been so good because you can throw Jack Flaherty in Game 1, but I don't think anyone would have confidence throwing Michael Walker, Adam Wainwright, or Mike Belankis games 3 or 4 or 5. They haven't shown that they can pitch in a postseason atmosphere lately. I mean, there's the Cardinals team that made the postseason a couple years ago, completely different. That was when Walker and Wainwright were in their prime. I think they're out of their prime now, and with a really hot lineup like the Braves have now, I think Jack Flaherty is the only pitcher that can compete and maybe get outs and maybe get a win against this hot Braves squad. We're going to move on to the other side now. We had the Nationals winning the wild card. They will go up to the Dodgers, Nick, in a 5-game series. Who do you have winning that game?
I would have to go with the Dodgers. And again, this could very well be a 5-game series because the Nationals have, again, probably the best pitching staff in baseball, and they have a very, very good lineup. But I hate to break it to you. When I may have to take back my comment on what I said 5 seconds ago, saying the Nationals have the best rotation in baseball. Because then I remembered, the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, Keita Maeda, Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Walker Buehler all in the same rotation. In playoff baseball, you really only need 4 guys, 4 starters. Maybe only 3 when you think about it, but you definitely need at least 4. And they have 4 great. They have a big 4. You talk about big 4s. There's not too many of them. They come around every so often. This is a big 4.
Buehler.
Yeah, Buehler. That's what I'm going to say. Buehler, Maeda, Hyun-Jin Ryu, Kershaw. That's a big 4 for you. And them having home field and them being, I believe, the better team. You have Bellinger in the lineup. You got Justin Turner. You have I'm blanking right now. Point is, Dodgers have a
Seager,
phenomenal lineup.
Muncy, Jerko, Freeze.
Exactly. All these guys that the Dodgers have, and then you have the phenomenal pitching staff. It's gonna be a great pitching series, hopefully between LA and Washington. If we do get it, it would probably be one of the best pitching series I've ever seen. I mean, just watching some of those pitching matchups will be insane. But I would have to go with the Dodgers. And again, it could be a 5-game series because I think the pitching on both sides is going to be so good. And the hitting is also going to be quite good on both sides.
I agree. I'm going with the Dodgers as well. You said Buehler with Kershaw, Ryu. You also have guys like Maeda who shows up once every 5 games. Rich Hill used to be good. He's shown starters. Caleb Ferguson has showed signs of greatness. But we forgot about their bullpen, too. You have Kenley Jansen. You got Joe Kelly. You got Casey Saddle. All these guys, Julio Urias, all these guys have shown and played in big games in the past. I like this Dodgers bullpen. They're a complete rounded team. And like you said, their offense is good with Muncy, Seager, Turner, Freeze. They're a deep team that they can take this. They can take it very far in this conference. So we have the 2 winners moving on to the NLCS in the Braves and the Dodgers. Nick, both teams have great pitching. Both teams have great hitting. I think the Braves will outdo the Dodgers in this one just because the Dodgers have had a pretty easy schedule in the second half. I think the Braves, their offense is probably Tier 1, And their pitching has been revived. Some with Foley-Nichik, like you said. I don't see any way that the Braves cannot win this against the Dodgers. And it'll go 7. I would agree to go 6 or 7, but I think the Braves have more of a chance going and winning this game.
And funny enough you say that, because I thought I was going to be kind of the devil's advocate here and picking the Braves, but I was going to go with the Braves. Yeah, I like their line. Again, I love the Braves lineup, top to bottom, is probably the best lineup in baseball until we get to the AL, because then I have another team in the AL that might even somehow have a better lineup than the Braves, right? But the Braves have definitely the best lineup in the NL, probably the second best lineup in the league, but it's very arguable, right? Them in Houston. So. But the point is, the Braves have an amazing lineup. They have a pretty solid pitching staff. Now, here's my only concern for the Braves versus the Dodgers. A pretty solid pitching staff really isn't going to do it versus the Dodgers. When the Dodgers came to Philly back in mid-July, I went to the 12:30 game. It was the Thursday night or Thursday afternoon game, and it was raining outside, which I think probably helps the hitter to hit the long ball because it gives the pitcher less control of the ball. But I don't really think it helps anybody. I think it's hurtful on both sides. But anyway, it was raining, and the point is Aaron Nola was on the mound, right? And Aaron Nola up 2 long balls. Aaron Nola is one of the best pitchers, personally one of the better pitchers I've ever – not one of the best, but one of the better pitchers I've ever seen in person. And this guy gave up 2 long balls. And the Citizens Banks Parks, at Harris Park, all that. But there was 2 long balls that was crushed. Max Muncy and Justin Turner. So – that's going to be a little scary. I think the Braves could be prone to the long ball against a team like the Dodgers, but I'd still, even with the Braves not having home field, I'd go with the Braves.
Yeah, so then we have them moving on to the World Series. We're going to move on to the AL side of the ball between the A's and the Rays. Both the A's are going to be hosting that. I don't think the A's have had their starting pitcher released. I'm assuming the Rays do, and I think it's going to be Charlie Morton, if I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that would be correct.
So Charlie Morton will start on a road game, which is some people may be surprised that it's not Blake Snell, but he hasn't had a great season. And Charlie Morton has revived. So I think it all depends on who the A's start. But I'm not. If I was an Astros fan, I would definitely want the Rays to win because somehow the Astros just cannot win against the A's. But I think the Rays are gonna win this. I don't really think whoever you put up against the A's. I think Charlie Morton is good enough, and this Rays team has been hot lately. I'm going to give it to the Rays. I just don't see the 7-3 in the last 10, whereas the A's are 6-4 in the last 10, in a 1-game losing streak. So I'm giving this one to the Rays. I think behind Charlie Morton, they're gonna be able to rattle out. And Charlie Morton can go to distance. We've seen him do that in the past. So I'm giving this one definitely to the Rays.
I really want to pick against you, but again, I like the Rays in this series because so the Rays, I've always kind of had like a love for the Rays even before everyone on Twitter hopped on the bandwagon. I've always loved the Rays because it was my first non-Philly stadium I went to. I know, right? Great experience, right? A dome for baseball. Great experience. Anyway, when you think about it, Rays-A's, it's like the battle of the 2 worst stadiums in baseball, right? If only it was a 5-game series and you get to see both. But I like the Rays in this also. I like Charlie Morton. And this is I'm gonna have to go on a rant now with this. This is a team that utilized analytics correctly, unlike Gabe Kapler and the Philadelphia Phillies. This team has utilized analytics correctly, and they've been rewarded with 96 wins. 96 wins. That's 15 more wins than the Philadelphia Phillies. 96 wins would have easily gotten the Phillies in the playoffs this year. Just by the way, the NL was garbage. So 96 wins would have been 1 game out of first place in the NL East and 3 games above the Nationals for the first wild card. So we would be hosting the Nationals tomorrow, right? If we had utilized analytics correctly, if we had a bullpen, if we spent money on pitching. See, the Rays are showing you how to utilize analytics correctly, and the Phillies just don't seem to know how to do that. But anyway, I like the Rays in this one. They are not favored right now in Vegas, but I still like them. Austin Meadows, obviously, with 33 home runs and a 291 average, 89 RBIs, has been the main piece on the hitting side of the ball for the Tampa Bay Rays, and I think he will continue to succeed against Oakland.
Yeah, they're going to go to Houston. We'll move on to the Twins and the Yankees. Nick, I am going to go with the Yankees on this one in the Bronx. They're getting guys healthy. Here's the problem with me with the Yankees. I'm worried for the Yankees. I truly am. because whatever they do, there's always a backlash. It's like Newton's motions. Whatever. I'm not gonna bring in science. Actually, I'm not gonna do that. But whatever. Like they got Severino back, but then they have Betances out for a year. Stanton. I don't know if he's back yet. At least I remember he hurt his knee. They did get Gary Sanchez back. So this is a team that's been up and down with injuries, but they've still proven to be good. The problem is though, luckily they're hosting the Twins, because if they weren't, then they would be really screwed, because Luis Severino's only good when he's playing in New York and behind the crowd. Luckily he is, and I'm willing to bet he's going to get that first game start. And I'm giving this one to the Yankees. I like their hitting. I think they've been strong all year round. It's the pitching that's going to be worrying for me, especially if they win and go on to a Game 7 series, a best of 7 series. I think for now, I think they'll be able to get away with winning the series. I think they'll start. In my opinion, if I was a manager, I'd definitely start Severino Game 1, maybe Happ Game 2, and then you can go Tanaka Game 3, or something around there. But that's or Paxton Game 3. So I have the Yankees winning this one, maybe in 4, but it's going to be rough if they can sweep. I don't like the Twins in this one. They have one pitcher, and that's it. Their hitting's been cold as of late, so I'm going with the Yankees.
Yeah, I also like the Yankees in this one. I like the Twins. I really do. They got 100 wins this year, and they played in division with the Cleveland Indians too. Yeah, they choked, but Cleveland has still had a very impressive team. But I still like the Yankees in this one. That Yankees line, holy shit! I keep saying everybody has the best lineup in baseball, but the Yankees do have a great lineup. It's not the best in baseball. The Braves and the Astros are tick above, but the Yankees do honestly have a phenomenal lineup. I mean, we've proven that. DJ LeMahieu, whoever thought someone that didn't make $330 million over 13 years would be the best free agent, right? You would think the highest paid free agent would be the best one. No, not so fast. DJ LeMahieu was the best free agent signing of the year, and he got I don't know what the exact contract was. I don't remember that, but it wasn't 13. It wasn't 13 years, $330 million, so it was a great deal. And the point of DJ LeMahieu, it's not the only piece. I mean, he's a huge piece to this team. He could honestly, if the AL didn't have Mike Trout, he'd probably win the MVP, right? But you have him. You have Aaron Judge. We'll see if Stanton gets back for the postseason. I don't know what his timetable is, what his timeline is. We'll see if he does. But you had Judge. You have LeMahieu. You have Gregorius. You have Gardner. You got a really good team. And let's just remember this. If the Yankees don't win a World Series this year, the Yankees won't have won a World Series in this whole decade. In New York, that's like not winning a World Series in 108 years, right? The Yankees are supposed to win every year. So for them not to win for a whole decade, they didn't win. That would be that's a sign for concern for Yankees fans. That's like a big no-no. You got to win at least 3 or 4 a decade. So for them not to win any in this decade, that'd be huge. Obviously.
Yeah, they don't have any really new update with Giancarlo Stanton. I'm still saying he's gonna be out. Severino's excited to be back for the postseason. I don't think it'll be the same. And then you have Sanchez. You have all those guys. But yeah, so that's going to be a Bronx Bombers will be back and active. You have Voit, who's come back up. I don't even know why they dropped him in the first place. JD, who's been kind of cold, but not horrible. But yeah, moving on to the other divisional series. Tampa Bay winning the wild card, going into Houston. Nick, I was able to go to a Houston game, one of the better stadiums I've been to. It's very small, in my opinion. I think it was a very compacted stadium, but it's Houston, so it's really hot. But they had AC inside. I think that made the stadium 10 times more great. Everything was AC'd, so you were never sweating your balls off. They had free Wi-Fi, so that was very good. But it was cool. The way everything worked, the atmosphere was great. If they're playing the Rays, it doesn't matter who they're playing. I don't care who they're playing. They're going to win the series, and I'm calling a sweep. I think this will be the only sweep we'll see in a postseason. Because of their top 3 pitchers, Greinke, Cole, and Verlander. Cole and Verlander obviously battling out for the AL Cy Young Award. Both pitchers have been great all year long. Greinke's added to that mix at trade deadline. This is one of the better rotations I've seen, and then you still have Sanchez and Wade Miley. Miley, who's coming from the Brewers, who also has some postseason experience. The offense, they got Springer back. They've been hurt for some of the season. Springer's back, coming from mild concussion. Correa's coming back, being out for 4 to 6 weeks. Alex Bregman making Trout work for the AL MVP. So these are all these guys. Jason Mrazek, I've seen him play a little bit. He can actually play. He can hit the ball. He can do the small things. Um, Josh Reddick, who's been outstanding in the month of September. These are all guys that I can see. If they put the pieces together, this is definitely going to be a sweep for Houston, and that's who I think will win the series.
I like Houston, and if they are playing Tampa, I would have to say I like them in a sweep too. Not because of Tampa, but because that'd be 3 straight home games, right? If they had to go even further, it would be 4 home games, 5 home games, as many home games as they want. You play in Tampa, you get as many home games as you want, right? So the point is, you get 5 home games in a series. You don't ever have to go to the other team's stadium. You don't ever have to deal with the other team's fans. Oh, it's amazing, amazing. 5 games at home. I mean, it's amazing. So I have to go with the Astros. But seriously, the Astros do have. Okay, now I'm finally gonna say it. This is for real. This is like the actual, like the last time I'm gonna say it. The Astros have the best lineup in baseball. Okay, and that is like I actually mean something. They actually do have the best lineup in baseball, right? You have Alex Bregman, George Springer, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, um, Yuli Gurriel, Josh Reddick, Jake Marisnick, Michael Brantley, right? So you have a very, very, very good lineup there in Houston. And then you have an amazing pitching staff with Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Zach Greinke. I mean, that's all you need, really. That's all you need because you only need 3 pitchers in the playoffs, right? So, I mean, there you go. I mean, how are you going to lose?
Mm-hmm.
That's you got to be like one of the best teams I've ever seen assembled
In baseball,
ever.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Houston.
Moving on, Houston and the New York Yankees. The Yankees are going to have some questions to be answered if they want to play in like 7-game series. Making him go to Houston is even worse because you can't start it would be unwise to start Severino because he's very bad pitching away. And it's a small ballpark, so you can't really start Tanaka because there's a really high fly ball ratage. And with a small ballpark, that's easily home runs. So then you have to put in Paxton or Hap. So that's going to be very interesting to see how the Yankees who are you gonna start with, because if you start Verlander game 1, which I'm assuming they would, then you'd have to have Paxton or Hap start game 1, and game 2 probably would go to Greinke or Cole, depending. I'd assume Cole, and then you'd probably have Severino against Greinke. Game 3 back in the Bronx. So that will be a very fun series to watch for the pitching and the rotation. I'm giving this one to Houston though. They're a full lineup, whereas the Yankees are a bit injured with no Stanton. Severino is still going to be, in my opinion, I think will be shaky. He'll be good enough to get out of the first round of the playoffs, but I think he's going to be shaky. I'm just giving this one to the Astros in about 5 or 6 games.
I also like Houston in this series because in the playoffs, in my opinion, pitching's a lot more important than hitting. And Houston has a way better pitching staff than New York, obviously. Houston might have the best or second best pitching staff in baseball. And the Yankees have probably one of the worst in baseball. And so I think Houston wins just because of that. And even when you look at lineups, New York probably has the 3rd best lineup in baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Houston probably has the best. So Houston has, I believe, the better team overall. If you want to go into bullpens, Houston's got the better one too, right? I think Houston has a clean sweep in the categories, and I think Houston, for that reason, I think they're the better team. I think they win. Give me 6 games. Win the game. Win the clincher in the Bronx.
I can see that. Yeah. So now World Series contenders: the Astros and the Braves. For me, this is gonna be tough. I think the Astros would get home field advantage. So you play 4 out of 7 games. But it's tough going game 3, 4, and 5 in Atlanta. That's gonna be hard. And they have, aside from Anibal Sanchez, I think the Astros do have a really good rotation. Anibal Sanchez is not bad in any court. He just doesn't have the experience necessarily, and especially if he's pitching on the road in Atlanta, that's gonna be very, very hard. I'm giving this one to the Astros though. I think they both have. I think they're both. I don't know. They're a complete team. I think both teams are very complete. I think the Astros just have that edge. They know what they've been there before. Their whole postseason logo is "Retake what's ours." So I think the fans are gonna get into it. Houston H-Town is a very passionate town when it comes to baseball. I don't see there's any way of the Astros losing this series against the Braves.
I also like Houston in this series because the lineups are almost even. Okay, almost. Houston has like a very small tick above, but they're almost even. So let's just say those are even, right? Well, even with that, Houston has the better pitching. It's not even close. So, and again, as I say, pitching is very similar to the O line in football. Well, I guess that's more like the bullpen, right? Point is, pitching is very important, right? Especially in the playoffs. I was gonna say pitching is like the O line in football, but no, bullpen is like the O line. If you don't have a good bullpen, you won't make it anywhere. You don't have a good O line, you won't make it. That's how it works. So, point is, Houston has really good pitching, and you need really good pitching, especially in October. And Atlanta just doesn't have nearly the same pitching. They have one great pitcher, Soroka, and a bunch of threes. Houston has three number ones. Verlander, Cole, and Greinke could all be number ones in a different city. Right? Only one of them can be a number one in Houston. But in other places, they could probably all be other. For every other team besides maybe Washington, they could probably all be ones. So I like Houston. I believe they have the better pitching staff. The hitting's almost equal, but the pitching's the tiebreaker. And Houston's home field. I like Houston.
Yep, and postseason starts on Tuesday with the Brewers and the Nationals. Tomorrow, well, that's gonna be tough. Getting our NFL preview and prediction will be tough, Nick, because we have Tuesday and Wednesday both for MLB wildcards. Depending who's the worst wildcard game, we'd probably make a video then, or we can do it at the same time. Give you guys updates, but we'll try to make you guys a recap and preview of the NFL and college football since we didn't do it last week. Yeah, you guys, because we have the Steelers, we can't do it tomorrow because the Steelers play on Monday Night Embarrassment. So we'll give you guys.
Bengals get their first one. It should be a huge game.
Let's hope not. I really hope not. But we'll see you guys hopefully on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll make a video between then. We'll definitely get this video out for you guys before Tuesday. And we'll see you guys next time.